Hi Papercrafters! Welcome to another Design with Jo video. I'm Joanne Rogers, a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Central Alberta, Canada, and I've been designing with you in mind since 1999. Today I want to share in the last of my series for this year of my handmade candy corn countdown. I've got all kinds of little treat ideas and I've been posting them for this is the 5th week on my blog, and that's at www.designwithjo.ca, and I'm ending with a video to make these cute little treat holders. And they're sized to make a Ferraro Rocher candy, but I found another one that I'm going to show you that fits in there perfectly too. So this is the Toil and Trouble designer paper, and I've just got little squares of it here. So this is the one side. They're great because you can cut out these large shapes. And in fact, last week's treat holder I used the witch's hat, and you may remember that with the scallop tag punch. And then from here down, these are the other side, so more patterns on the other side that are easy to use. So the measurements here are 4 by 6, so these are 4 inches this way and 6 this way, and then I'm going to put up on the screen, but you might want to just take a screenshot of this one too. We're going to score it this way at 1 and 3, and then we're going to score it 4 times this way, and I'll put these up 1 3/8, 2 3/4, 4 1/8, and 5 1/2, and we're going to cut the bottom. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. So I'm going to use a piece of this paper. It's got cute little jumping frogs on this side, and it's the one with the hats on the other side. So I'm going to have it so that the frogs are going to be facing out. So we're going to score it at 1 inch. So you move your paper over to the 1 inch and butt it up against the bar there. You're going to score. Make sure you're using your scoring blade and not your cutting blade. And then 3 inches. And then we're going to turn it 90 degrees, and we're going to score it at 4 places here. 1 3/8, 2 3/4, 4 1/8, and 5 1/2. Okay, and then we're done with the scorer. Now go ahead and fold on all those score lines, and you can pull in your bone folder and give it a nice crisp edge. So that's all of them. Now you're going to pull in your envelope punch board. So holding your piece this way so that it is short, and I have my little 1/2 inch piece down here at the bottom. We're going to start at the top along the 1 and the 3 inch, and we are going to put that into our envelope punch board so that it's centered. So let me pull that up so you can see it. So I want my score line to be centered in the little divot, I'm going to call it, in there, and I'm just going to punch through my paper. And then I'm going to pull it over, and I'm going to do the exact same thing on the 1 inch. Now I'm going to fold it down. So fold along that score line and do the same thing. Put it right in and get your score line right in the middle and punch. It'll be just a little bit more pressure you have to give it. Over at the 1 inch. Lift it out, fold down again. So it's not 3 pieces of paper we're going through here. We're going through 2. Punch it again. Punch it again, and we are going to go and repeat that all the way down. Okay, now what we want to do is we want to have a bottom piece that is going to be flat, and we want to have a top piece that has a few little divots in it. So for this one, what we want to do is we want to have our punch go right in the middle here. So I'm putting in my piece. Again, what I'm using just to eyeball it is where this little divot is. So I'll hold that up again. So I'm sort of eyeballing that this one and the end of this one over here are sort of even, and I'm just eyeballing it at this point. And punch. Same thing, eyeballing this, punch. And I'm not going to do this edge. I'm going to cut off that edge once I have it put together. Okay, so here we have our piece. You're going to need your scissors now, and we are going to cut up on our score lines. And we're just going to cut up from the bottom to the first little hole we've created. So right on the score line, cut that on all 4. Okay? So now what we're going to do is we want the frog side to be facing out. So I'm going to fold that back, and I'm going to put liquid glue along there. And what I found to be the easiest is put my liquid glue on there, and then I'm going to lift this up and I'm going to bring it across to meet where the liquid glue is. So I'm just going to hold that down a little bit. Hopefully don't get it all over my fingers. Line it up. You probably will not get a perfect line up here, and that's okay. And just let that dry for just a moment. And then we're going to move on. We're going to do the bottom. So I stand it on its edge, and the bottom is going to fit over top just like this. I take my liquid glue and I give myself a little bit on 3 of my sides. And then I'm just going to close those, one side and then the facing side, and then the top, and lastly the bottom. And before it sets too much, I'm going to turn it over on its edge, and I'm just going to use my bone folder to go in there and just sort of tighten it up a little bit. Now if you have any little edges peeking out the side, like here I have an edge peeking out the side, I'm just going to take my snips and snip that off, and the other side is okay. It seems like there's always one side. Now what I do is I look and see where my connector is, so where the overlap is, and I want that to be in the back. And then I'm going to press in, looking from the front, press in these sides and fold it together. And then when I fold it together, I can just give a little bit of a cut. Actually, this is probably easier. A little bit of a cut on that edge that I needed to finish off. So there's our container. And this is where you're going to throw in your Ferraro Rocher, and it will fit in there just perfectly. But I'm going to show you the other candy that I found. Perfect for Halloween are these Lindor chocolates that you can get, and they're round, and you can just take the top and sort of set it down and put it in, and it is great for this time of year. So now what we're going to do is just finish off the front. So once again, I'm using the takeout treats, which is perfect for this time of year for Halloween. Also for Christmas, and it's also got some Valentine's in here. So I'm enjoying using this, and I'm finding that I'm getting all kinds of uses out of it. So we're going to use this again today, and we are going to use the Yum. So with what's great about the decorating for these little treats is that you can use up paper scraps. So I'm going to use my pumpkin pie, and I'm just going to stamp Yum. Then I'm going to use a variety of my punches. So I've got my 1 and an 1/8 scallop circle, and it fits perfectly over top. So I'm going to punch that out. I have my 1 1/4 inch that I'm going to use for a piece of black. I have my 1 3/8 inch scallop that I'm going to use for a piece of my pumpkin pie. And I have my 1 1/2 inch that I'm going to use for a piece of my gorgeous grape. And then I'm just going to put these together. Start with my Yum on top of my black, and you just build up your circles. And you don't need a very much, and this is just going to have a really little border around it. You don't need a huge amount of snail on there, just enough to hold it in place. And I'm going to put that on with dimensionals, but after I put and tie my top. So I've got a piece of gorgeous grape mini striped ribbon, and this is about a 7-inch piece, and it will fit in the little divots that we've created. And I'm just going to tie that in a knot, and I'm always left over right and under, and then right over left and under, and that's going to get you your ribbon so that it comes out to the side like this. And if you want, snip off the ends. I always like my ends not too long. Whoops. And then I'm going to put these guys on with a dimensional. I've got one left here. And then just put this right on the front, in the middle. And we're almost done. I've got some rhinestones, and what I want to do is I want to color my rhinestones as close to these colors as possible. So I have my dark pumpkin pie stamp and blend, I've got my granny apple green stamp and blend, and I have my daffodil delight also in dark. And what I find to be the best, so I'm not going to hurt my tips, is I'm going to use the bullet tip on my blend. It's a little bit hardier, and I'm not going to hurt it by coloring my rhinestones. So I'm just going right over top. This doesn't take very long to dry at all. Make sure you get a nice crisp solid sound on your on closing the lids on your blends. And then I'm just going to pull those off. And I think maybe I'll go up here and down here. And I'll put this guy over here. And that's our little mini treat holder. I hope you enjoyed this project. If you do, please like it below and consider subscribing to my YouTube channel. I post regularly as well at www.designwithjo.ca, and I would love to have you join in. You can find all the supplies for this project in the description below. Also, if you think you'd like to join in the fun and become a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, join my team of Creative Canucks. We have a great time and we're always looking to welcome new people to our group. Thanks very much and have a great day.